Hello and welcome to the Vaults of Terra. My name is Ed and today we're going to be continuing with our overview videos with a quick look at the Imperial Inquisition. Now, the Inquisition, also known as the Holy Orders of the Emperor's Inquisition, is one of the most powerful organisations in the Imperium. They are a secret police and exist to root out and destroy anything that may tarnish or destroy the Imperium or its citizens, be that heresy, demons or alien Xenos. Now, the organisation's members are agents known as Inquisitors, and are a diverse group of people as you could possibly find within the Imperium. Now, the history of the Inquisition is mostly a mystery, and its formation is shrouded in the past, but there are two popular theories about how it did start. The first is prior to the Emperor's internment within the Golden Throne during the Siege of Terra. The Emperor of Mankind commanded Malcador the Sigillite to seek out men of character, skill and determination, to be tested and trained so that an elite group of investigators might be tasked to discover the alien, mutant and heretic. Just before his assault on Horus's battle barge, the Vengeful Spirit, Malcador brought 12 individuals before the Emperor, 8 Astartes and 4 humans, whom he had gathered as per the Emperor's commands. Now, the Astartes were those whose legions had turned to chaos, but who had remained loyal to the Emperor. Of the humans, we know very little. The identities of the 12 have never been fully released, although it is thought that 3 were Captain Nathaniel Garrow of the Death Guard, Captain Iketon Cruz of the Lunar Wolves, and the Sister of Silence Amendera Kendril. Now, the second story is that just as the Emperor was placed upon the Golden Throne, 4 of his servants gathered secretly to discuss the future of the Imperium. Now, opinions were divided. 2 believed that the Emperor should be returned to life, and the other 2 believed that the course of history should not be changed, and they should not interfere and let events unfold naturally. The 2 resurrectionists, known as Promius and Morena, left Terra to begin their quest to bring the Emperor back to life. The 2 that remained acted quickly to establish themselves within the Senatorium Imperialis and create an organisation to combat the efforts of Promius and Morena, which eventually formed the seed of the Inquisition. Now, no one who has heard these stories know if they are true, or if they're just simplistic retellings of events. It is said, though, that as the Senatorium Imperialis was convened on the first anniversary of the Emperor's Ascension, a representative of the Holy Orders of the Emperor's Inquisition appeared. It indicates that the formation occurred very soon after the Emperor's Ascension to the Golden Throne. Now, within the Inquisition there are certain different orders known as Ordos. Now, the Ordos are sub-factions, which are where like-minded Inquisitors come together to operate in a specific sphere, facing a certain type of threat to the Imperium. Now, the Inquisition has no formal operating hierarchy or sole leadership, and so they are free to face the enemies of the Imperium however they wish, although secrecy and obfuscation is a byword for most Inquisitors. The Ordos rise and fall with the times, although there are some staples in the Inquisition that have existed since its inception and in the millennia afterwards. Ordos grow or shrink depending on the threats they face at the time, and associating with one Ordo is not an absolute alliance, with many Inquisitors free to face threats other than his or her own specialties in an Ordo. Now, the primary Ordos are known as the Ordo Majoris, and there are 3 current Ordo Majoris, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, and the Ordo Hereticus, and there are also an unknown number of Ordo Minoris. Now, these main branches have existed for many ages, as their mission is considered never-ending. While Inquisitors from any Ordo can deal with possible dangers, it is for the Ordo to produce agents who are specialised in dealing with specific threats that the Ordo specialises in. Now, to describe them in more detail, the Ordo Xenos, or those who face the threat without, investigate and eliminate alien influences and plots in the Imperium. The Ordo Hereticus, or those who face the threat within, investigate and root out heresy, mutation and rogue psychers from within humanity, and also help police the ecclesiarchy. And finally, the Ordo Malleus, those who face the threat from beyond, destroy demonic threats and investigate the nature of the demons. Now, the Ordo Minoris are very large, and there are so many of them that it's unlikely we'll have a complete list. However, I will go through a few of them now. Now, there's the Ordo Aegis, who watch over the Cadian Gate, the Ordo Astartes, who watch over the Astartes, the Ordo Barbarus, who watch over the pre-industrial worlds, the Ordo Cronus, which is an ill-fated organisation where all its members vanished. Possibly they dealt with time anomalies, although no one now knows. There's the Ordo Custodum, based on Terra and oversees the Imperial Palace, the Ordo Excorium, who watches and sometimes regulates the Exterminatus of Worlds, making sure it is completed, the Ordo Machinum, who watch over the Adeptus Astartes, the Ordo Militarum, who watch over the Imperial Guard, the Ordo Originatus, who try to uncover the mystery of the Inquisition's origins, the Ordo Redactus, who try to keep the history of the Inquisition classified, the Ordo Scriptorum, who monitor Imperial records and communications, the Ordo Scriptus, who oversee the Imperial history and records, guess who Vaults of Terra probably belongs to, the Ordo Spielturium, who research and monitor plagues in an effort to destroy, remove remove and or procure them, and the Ordo Sicarius, who police the activities of the Officios Assassinorum. Now also with the Inquisition are Conclaves, Cabals, and Cells. Now these subsets reach beyond an Ordo, and an Inquisitor may associate themselves with multiple Conclaves, Cabals, or Cells within their lifetime. Now there are two types of conclaves. The first is a gathering called by a single inquisitor to deal with a topic or topics. It's called a high conclave if it's called by a senior inquisitor known as an inquisitor lord. There are also regional conclaves with groups of inquisitors watching over an area of space with a large amount of resources available, ships, troops, fortresses, etc. Not every region has a conclave, and only those areas that need one have one. Each regional conclave is normally overseen by an inquisitor lord, nominally appointed by the High Lords of Terra. Now, a cabal is set up as an official specific task force of inquisitors dedicated to investigating a particular matter. They can be from diverse backgrounds, which can affect the cabal's effectiveness, and some see cabals as an unneeded secret society within the Inquisition. Now, cells are similar to cabals, but they're actually informal ad hoc groups of inquisitors who share the same goal, who can be formed or disbanded very rapidly to deal with certain threats. Now, the role of the Inquisition has remained relatively stable throughout the history of the Imperium. Now, the Inquisition is completely autonomous within the Imperium, with only the Minitorum sharing this power, and has near infinite power itself. Only the Emperor is above the scrutiny of an Inquisitor, and all others must bow to their wishes or be destroyed. It is not a branch of the Adeptus Terra, and is self-contained and self-regulated, based in inquisitorial fortresses across the Imperium. Now, its role is to investigate and deal with threats to the Imperium, both seen and unseen, from both invasions, corruption, mutation, and heresy against both the Imperium and the Emperor. There are no bounds to the Inquisitor's jurisdiction. Alien plots, mutation, political corruption, or even incompetence can all be investigated and punished by the Inquisition. Now, all the resources of the Imperium are at the Inquisition's command, and no citizen of the Imperium, be that a lowly beggar in a hive city or the High Lords themselves, may ignore an Inquisitor's command. Although most Inquisitors know not to misuse this power or face strong resistance, especially from big organisations like the Astartes or the Mechanicus. Now, there is little bureaucracy within the Inquisition, as it is a secretive organisation, and so authority is usually governed by two factors: reputation and influence. Seniority in itself is no indication of authority, but many will listen to a more experienced peer as they have survived the horrors that Inquisitors have to face over their careers. Now, no organisation is without problems, and it is inevitable that some Inquisitors fall to the corruption they investigate and misuse their powers. As such, their former peers will usually hunt them down, strip them of their power, and destroy them. Now, Inquisitors can punish enemies of the Imperium in many ways, be that imprisonment, torture, or death. The worst punishment they can give is to declare an exterminatus on an entire planet and destroy it utterly. This can be done to remove corruption or Xenos taint, but can also be done to deny the enemies of the Imperium strategic ground and resources, and has been used as a tactic against the world-consuming tyrannid many times before. Now, moving on to the ranks within the Inquisition, there are no formal ranks, only influence gains through long service. I've mentioned Lord Inquisitors, but they only usually exist as heads of regional conclaves, although, in recognition of great deeds, many Inquisitors will become Inquisitor Lords, although to the citizenry of the Imperium, any Inquisitor you meet will be deemed to be a Lord. Now, recruitment and promotion of the Inquisition is obviously non-standard, as there is no formal hierarchy. Inquisitors are usually recruited by fellow Inquisitors, usually from a pool of acolytes that an Inquisitor uses to assist in their investigations. There are many different names given to acolytes: interrogators, explicators, neophytes, novices, approbators, etc., but in themselves they carry no authority, only the authority of their Inquisitor. For an acolyte to be raised to the rank of an Inquisitor, the consent of 3 Inquisitors or an Inquisitor Lord is required. Now, the position can be inherited if the Inquisitor dies in action, and the acolyte takes on their seal to complete the mission, and they will serve continually as an Inquisitor unless it is repealed by another Inquisitor, or they can become a full Inquisitor with the consent of 3 Inquisitors or an Inquisitor Lord as per usual. There are other elements to the Inquisition, including the Chamber Militant, which are military forces which are not Inquisitors themselves, which can be used by the Inquisition to fight specific threats in their secret or not so secret wars. Now, the Ordo Malleus's Chamber Militant are the Grey Knights, the Astartes who specialise in combating demons. The Ordo Hereticus's Chamber Militant are the Orders Militant of the Adeptus Sororitas, also known as the Sisters of Battle, although unlike other Chambers Militant, they also operate as an outside force when not serving the Inquisition. The Ordo Xenos's Chamber Militant are the Death Death Watch, Astartes assembled from chapters across the Imperium and dispersed through various watch bases across the Imperium itself. Inquisitors also use specifically trained stormtroopers of the Imperial Guard, known as Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. It's actually thought that the Stormtrooper program was created to give the Inquisition a fighting force of normal humans, with the rejects being the ones that are sent to the Imperial Guard. And finally today I want to deal with the different philosophies within the Inquisition. Now the Inquisition is divided into two broad philosophies, known as Puritanism and Radicalism. Now for Puritans it is the utmost importance that the Inquisitional doctrine is upheld, and they are often found persecuting those Inquisitors who are deemed heretical. They will destroy any alien, mutant or heretic they find, and have no mercy for the enemies of the Imperium whatsoever. Now the more pragmatic radical Inquisitors follow imperial doctrines in spirit, believing that the ends justify the means, and find very little value in adhering to convention too closely. They often try to use the weapons of the enemy against them, using Chaos or Xenos weaponry, employing demon hosts, or even committing other acts that would be deemed heretical by their more conservative brethren. Now this has led to many internal conflicts within the Inquisition, although to many outside the Inquisition you would be hard pressed to know anything about them other than the fact that sometimes Inquisitors seem to turn up, fight one another, then disappear again. So that's everything I wanted to do in this overview video today on the Inquisition. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will be coming up with another video as soon as we can. If you have anything you'd like to say, please leave it in the comment section below, or you can go to the Vox Relay, which is in the description box below, where you can go and ask questions of the knowledgeable community who are currently able to answer many questions about the Warhammer 40,000 universe that you may feel you need to ask, and that may not have been covered in this video. You can also contact me directly via personal message. Now, that's everything I have to mention today. See you next time on the Vaults of Terra.